Adam and share a kiss, and Adam and Jeremy Stark into Genoa town. On today's episode of The Young and the Restless, there is a confrontation between Diane and Ashley, Nikki and Phyllis, and a meeting between Tucker and Dom. Tucker has finally made it to Crimson Lights, and he contacts Devon to let him know. When Diane approaches, Tucker smirks and says, "I thought you'd be long gone by now." Diane is not leaving. He probes whether or not she is worried about Jeremy Stark finding her. Diane maintains that she did not report him. She continues by saying that Jack and Kyle have promised to support her. Tucker warns them that if that's the case, they have no idea what they're getting themselves into. Diane relaxes, telling Kyle and Jack that they'll protect her if it comes to that. Tucker calls them simpletons. Diane claims that he is trying to use the women to get rid of her because he didn't get the Jabot financials from her. Tucker claims she lied to him and that she never intended to fulfill her part of the bargain. Therefore, he has warned her that there will be consequences. Diane refers to him as a terrible 2-year-old and warns him that she will not give up and run, even if it seriously endangers the people you claim to love, as Tucker asks. Ashley loses it at the Abbott residence when she learns that Phyllis contacted Stark before bringing up the issue with her parents. Phyllis suspects that they are risk-averse. They insist on talking with Tucker and Deacon, and that's why they're protesting. Phyllis mocks them by saying they're already divorced. Ashley screams that Stark is a mystery and that she made a rookie error. Nikki inquires as to the contents of her conversation with him. Phyllis had informed him that Diane had conspired with the federal government to have him apprehended. Stark turns out to have been extremely sympathetic, using terms like rehabilitation, as Ashley and Nikki discover. If it was a trap, Nikki wonders. As for Phyllis, she agrees. Further, she claims he inquired about his long-lost friend Diane Jenkins, wanting to know her whereabouts and how she was doing. Phyllis says acerically, "I told him where that bitch was. I urged him to come to Genoa City since she was living here." Nikki and Ashley both seem very concerned. They don't seem to be happy, as Phyllis points out. Ashley discusses how they are beginning to question whether or not they made the correct decision. Phyllis says it's too late for that now. After discovering Sally at work, Adam inquires as to how her lunch with Nick went. Sally thanks him and says it was wonderful. Adam is concerned for her well-being and wonders whether everything is all right. She claims to be doing okay. She's just been busy making some discovery calls and reorienting her life. Sally lets out a heavy sigh before confessing that no, of course she is not fine. In fact, she is the very antithesis of fine. Whatever triggered Adam's short rant, he knows he deserves it. Sally blames him for everything and says he is abusing her. The woman claims that he has been playing mind games with her. Adam needed to express his thoughts and feelings. He needed to make a suggestion. Sally goes on a tirade about how everything he said is running through her head and she can't seem to shake the way it made her feel. "The way you make me feel just won't go away." The man named Adam cracks a grin. They should definitely be a couple, as he had predicted. Phyllis, at the Abbott estate, tells Ashley and Nikki about the efforts they made to have Diane leave town. Nothing has helped, she screams, and she's still trapped inside. Phyllis tells Ashley that with the exception of herself, she has manipulated everyone in her family. She has forgotten that Jack even exists. Diane now believes she has allies, and her captors can do nothing to prevent her from leaving. Nikki is concerned that this may not be the case. If she doesn't want Phyllis to advise her to shut up, she should learn to control her tongue. Specifically, she says that Diane is too authoritarian in the story. Like Nikki, she thinks it's ridiculous to send a convicted criminal after her. Phyllis yells that the woman should be shot down from her perch. It's time to blow her away. Her best bet is that he's on his way to Genoa City to face Diane about her history, so they'll soon find out if it worked. Tucker at Crimson Lights believes Diane should have done more to fulfill his request. Diane probes. "Do you want me to be hurt?" she says. Tucker claims that both he and Ashley simply want her to move away. Considering how potentially harmful Stark is, she would be selfish not to. Diane tells Tucker that he is responsible for whatever that may occur, and that she will not be intimidated into leaving him. Tucker respects her assurance, however incorrect it may be. Diane advises him to get over it and see that she is becoming a permanent part of the Abbott's world, and that she may become an ally. Tucker sneers that she will never be able to win Ashley over and that, instead, she will only cause tension between Ashley and Jack. Diane believes he wants to drive a wedge between Ashley and her family, so he may be her safe haven in times of trouble. "There it is again," says Tucker with a grin, "that cunning intellect." Upon Devon's arrival, Tucker is asked if he is prepared to see his grandchild. In a snide tone, Diane says, "What a beautiful gift it is to be able to spend time with your grandson." After the men have left, Diane sends Jack a text message to see if their dinner plans are still in effect. A response from him confirms that we'll be going to his place. Sally tells Adam at Society that she's attempting to restart her career and needs to get away from it all. Adam realizes he has made matters more complicated than necessary. He wished his suggestion would be heard of the din. He's eager to continue the discussion, but he doesn't think it's appropriate for that setting. The opinion of Sally is shared. "Allow me to interject. Let's do this." They go up to her suite, and Adam tells Sally he just wants to chat. She can't believe how difficult it is. They've always gotten along famously. Adam insists that he is still who he once was. Sally reveals to Adam that she understood his sincerity and importance to him when he spoke those words the other day. According to Adam, they are extremely close to regaining their previous possessions. Plus a lot. At Society, Nick presents a business report to Victor. Nick looks at his phone and says something about the delivery being late. Victor notices that he seems distracted and wonders if it's because of the Spectra lady. Nick is hurt that his dad calls her such in front of him. It's no secret to Victor that he and his brother are in a triangular relationship with that woman. To put it bluntly, not good. Nick avoids the topic, but Victor keeps pressing. In his eyes, Nick's performance must be above and beyond any sibling rivalry for Sally Spectra. Don't you know that being in a triangle relationship is terrible for your self-esteem, your family life, and your happiness? He is convinced that she is trying to cause discord between the brothers for political gain. In Victor's opinion, he is performing admirably in his position at Newman. Nick wonders how that pertains to his life outside of work. As a comeback, Victor argues it has everything to do with it. Nick says he doesn't get why Victor hates Sally when she has so many positive attributes he appreciates. To put it bluntly, the way you speak about her makes me feel as though she is beneath me. Victor claims to have a dossier on Sally, the result of having his employees look into her life in Los Angeles. Nick thinks it's ridiculous that we've come to this. He hears the story of how Sally faked a terminal illness and blackmailed a doctor to trick a man who had lost interest in her. Nick says she's put forth a lot of effort to improve her life. She politely declined his offer of startup capital for her future project, to which Victor replies, "Son, you're truly attached with her, aren't you?" At Devon's place, Dom and Devon descend the stairs to be greeted by a glowing Tucker, who exclaims, "You have a gorgeous son. This is your grandfather, Dominic." "Hello, I'm Tucker." Tucker says to Devon that he looks just like him, and that makes him wish they had been friends as kids. Tucker is in awe of Dom's prowess as they play together on the floor. In this excerpt, Devon describes his many passions and interests. Tucker thinks Catherine would have been very proud of her great-grandson if she could have met him. He can't believe how well he, Chance, and Abby have worked together as a team to bring him up. You and Abby appear to be growing closer. In an uncomfortable shuffle, Devon declares, "They're pretty near." Tucker believed he had made an observation. When he finds that Devon is single, he wants to know if he's happy. Phyllis reveals to Nikki and Ashley back at the Abbott estate that Diane was the one who actually transported her here. Interested in why Nikki thinks Diane will give in this time, she inquires as to what exactly it is. "What if it backfires?" Ashley exclaims in worry. She warns him that he might find out he's been duped. Nikki plans to have Victor beef up the home's security because of this. Overreacting in the opinion of Phyllis. When Ashley answers it, Diane says they have to have a word. As soon as Diane sees Phyllis and Nikki, she makes a snide remark about how the whole coven is present. "You only care about finding ways to make things difficult for me," she said. "Oh, Diane." Phyllis meows lovingly. "Oh, how incorrect you are. Our desire to see you suffer the consequences of your actions is not petty." Diane goes off on them for acting superior despite having caused so much harm to others. She tells them that her connections with them have only grown stronger despite their best efforts to weaken them. "Why are you here?" Ashley yells. She blames Harrison, or so Nikki thinks, so she may justify her inappropriate behavior toward Jack. When asked, Diane tells them she is waiting for Jack to arrive to the restaurant where they will have supper together. Both Nikki and Ashley leave. Phyllis gives Diane a knowing nod and a cheerful "enjoy yourself" before following her lead. "I still feel a connection with you, and love," Sally says Adam in her suite. In what possible way could I not? He had faith in her, had seen both her strengths and weaknesses, and had loved her regardless. That's why his treatment of her was so terrible, and so difficult to forget. Adam is aware of the situation and would like nothing more than to change it, but he is unable to do so. He has no choice except to own his foolishness and ask her forgiveness. "Sally, it's almost over. Together, I'm confident that we can solve this." The answer is yes. Nick won't try to persuade Victor to change his opinion about Sally at society, but he will argue that Adam isn't worthy of her. Not Sally, but Adam will be the one to bring her down. Victor sees Sally Spectra as nothing more than a symptom of Nick and his brother's sibling rivalry. Someday, she'll be gone and forgotten. As a result, your relationship with Adam is now poisonous. Trust me when I say that you will deeply regret prioritizing that woman above your loved ones. I swear to you. Adam gets closer to Sally in Sally's suite as they discuss their past and future together. "When I proposed to you, it was no joke. Sally, I'm after you. The emphasis is on you alone." "I want you too," Sally adds. It ends with a passionate kiss between them. Adam stops kissing her long enough to gaze at her, and then he begins again. Tucker visits Devin and inquires about Amanda. To cut a long story short, Devin has to feed Dom and cannot continue the story right now. Tucker assures the youngster, "I'll be there for you. You can count on us to provide exactly what you need, whenever you want it, and that's what I'd like to have been for your dad." The grin spreads across Dom's face. Whenever the doorbell rings at the Abbott residence, Diane is usually in the middle of doing her hair. She's approaching, then halts abruptly. The doorbell rings and Diane invites Jeremy Stark inside. "Don't want to hear I heard you,"